Hello and welcome. My name is Merely Adequate, and I'm coming to you from TWS Season 5. In the last episode, we made this newspaper. And if you saw it, then you know it's not just any ordinary paper. This is a treasure map, or at least it's clues to a treasure. And I thought it was a really good one. I was really excited about it. I thought I did a really good job, but I don't know if the clues were too hard or if, there just wasn't that much interest because I only had one person. One person solved it. That's it. Kizik contacted me not very long after the paper came out and told me that he had found it. So I hopped online, found out he was at his base, and headed on over to see if he'd found the token, and there it is! It was so beautiful, I loved it! So it's prize time. Pulled out my box, pulled out the goodies, and I was anxious to see what he was going to pick. And I was nervous, because I don't want the best prize to go away first, but he was the first winner, but he surprised me and he picked the Wither Skulls. I feel a little bad now. So I'm going to leave it up to you. Let me pull out the paper and I'll show you what it is again. And I'll kind of reveal the clues and you can tell me in the comments if you think it was too hard or if it was just right or if maybe people just didn't have enough interest in it, maybe. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, the paper was called Hidden Place. And there's a main article on the left. On the top right, there's a advertisement for Adequate Tours with a phone number. And then below that is a horoscope. So I did, obviously what's the most obvious things in the paper. One is the Virgo sign, which admittedly has nothing to do with it. I thought it was funny to put something in there that had nothing to do with it. But the next is the phone number. If you look closely at it, it's coordinates. 352, negative 1509. I thought that I even put an extra space in there to make it the negative closer to the 1509. Let's head after the coordinates and then we'll talk about the rest of the paper. All right, 352, 1509. Here we are. So, there's not much here. You can see somebody came here and tried digging down. But you're near my base. We're near my base. So let's take a look at the paper again and see if we can get any more clues. Well, so on the bottom right, it says this month you should look up. Something good may drop. So maybe that's it. Which is maybe why this person went up there to look, which was smart. That was smart. But nope, that wasn't it. So let's look at the next part. So if you look closely at the article on the left, there's a very common trick that lots of people use that I thought was so common that everybody would notice. Let me highlight it for you. There it is, see? Inside the ball. Okay, all right. Well, does anybody see a ball? It's right there. Let's go over to it. We'll go up inside and see what we have to see. Okay, we went to the chords. That clearly was the point of the article or the advertisement. We looked inside the ball, which is clearly the point of the main article. And the last bit is Virgo. This month you should look up. Something good may drop. Well, let's look up. I see. What is that? Oh, I can't quite reach it. Okay. Let's look again. And there they are, in the dropper. You look up to the dropper. Come on. Was it that hard? You tell me. All right, say in the comments. You say too hard? Just right? I don't know, which one is it? I don't know, is there another option? Too easy? Could you tell just by looking at the paper last week what it was? All right, so too hard, just right, or too easy. We'll pretend like you're Goldilocks and it's the three it's the three bears. Too hard, just right, too easy. Oh man, I wish more people had played. I had lots of treasure left. Okay, well, it's time to move on to something else. And I have something I've been thinking about for a while. I've been having an amazing time with all these storylines and adventures, and the newspaper is super fun. I love all the different things I get to do. But there's one aspect of the game that I haven't been doing much of lately. And so I've been trying to pick up the slack. It's a redstone. I'm not great at redstone, but I really do love doing it. So I've been doing a few small redstone tutorials on my channel to kind of, scratch that itch. But I was thinking today that I might build a big redstone contraption. You see, I have a couple builds coming up, a couple ideas that I have that need quite a lot of a single resource, and I was thinking that this is the right time to finally get around to building something big in the redstone. The resource I need is mud. So I've been over in my creative world designing a farm that would work perfectly for my needs and maybe even overwork for my needs. This is going to be quite the farm. I'm a little impressed with myself. This might be one of the better farms I've ever made on my own without really a tutorial. So let's head over. I don't really want to build it here near my base. It's going to take up a little bit of room, and also big farms that run for a long time are supposed to be built out beyond the 3,000 barrier. So I have a pseudo farm area going. Actually, let's just head out there and I'll show you what I'm talking about. At the beginning of the season, this is the area I kind of picked out to do farms in. Then, most of the farms I had to make ended up being over water. See, I've got snowmen going over there. I've got a squid farm. You can barely see it in the distance coming out over there. I made a creeper farm over the ocean out that direction that ended up getting deleted. And then I have my villagers, which are over there under a mountain, way underground. So that means my farm area is looking kind of empty. It doesn't really look like much of an industrial area. So maybe I try to solve that today. I'm going to take up most of this room behind me, I think, for the full size of this farm. And I think it's going to be pretty cool. So let me get out some of my stuff. And when I finish the first phase of the farm, I'll check in with you and I'll kind of explain what's going on. Because I'm not going to turn this into a redstone tutorial. I might actually do a tutorial for this later in one of my other videos. And maybe a standalone video to explain if it turns out good. You build things in creative, and sometimes you're not entirely sure once you get it onto a server with lag if it's going to work correctly. So if I get it on here and it works just fine, then I will definitely make a tutorial for it, and then we can I can step you through it step by step. But for now, let me just get the basics put in. And this is it. Let me see if I can somehow explain what's going on. Right up here, 1, 2, 3, this little V shape is a repeater clock. And that one clock is running 4 different things. Let's go up here and I'll show you. The first thing that it's running is it's running this dispenser that's shooting out water bottles. Because if you put down dirt and you dispense water on it, or click on water on it, then it turns into mud. That's the first thing it's running. Click, 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 click. The next thing it's running is this repeater, this piston in opposite of this one. So after it spits out a bottle, it pushes it to the side. Over and over and over again. The third thing that it's running is right up there. There's another dispenser that's shooting out empty bottles of glass, empty glass bottles. And whenever you dispense empty glass bottles into water, that creates a water bottle. So click, 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 exactly in time with this, it's creating new water bottles and refilling this. And the fourth thing that's running is another dispenser. And what's coming out of this one? But dirt. I don't want to hold all this in my inventory and constantly having to be switching over to new stacks. I want to be able to stand here, hold down one button, and make the machine work. And that's what this does. It just shoots dirt down on me and keeps refilling my inventory and going. And that's basically it. It's just one clock running 4 different mechanisms. The only other thing I had to add was down here is an item filter, and it's filtering for the empty glass bottles. You'll see here, that's the filter right there. And I need that so that the empty bottles don't go back into the dispenser and mess everything up. So this is constantly pulling out the empty bottles and storing them here. That's a lot. That's a lot of explanation. I could have made it look nicer and neater if I got rid of a couple of the extra bells and whistles, but I really wanted it to work at full capacity. So that's why it kind of has all those little extra things sticking in and out. And also, I set the chests in a way so that I can stand in the one spot and reach all of them. So it's really functional friendly, and hopefully it's going to work. I honestly haven't tried it since I put it on the server. So you want to watch and give it a try with me? It works in creative. Let's see if it can actually work on a server. The only thing I'm going to say in my defense is it is a little bit messy. Every once in a while, when you start or stop the machine, it pushes a dirt block over before making it mud. So that's not a big deal. And then also, when you're starting it, before you start placing the dirt down, you'll get a couple water bottles in your inventory. Also not a big deal. But it is, it's not as super slick as, some professional, but it's pretty good. So let's run it. And go. There it goes. There it goes. There it goes. There it goes. It's going to go, I believe, 12 over. And then it's going to stop because the piston won't be able to push anymore. And there it is. Let's turn it off before I get all the water bottles. Okay. Oh, it did miss one. Maybe I have a repeater set off a little bit. But that's it. That's how that works. Okay. And now you're thinking, oh, great. Now you've got a bunch of mud floating up in the air. Well, that's when phase 2 comes in. I have to use a whole bunch of hoppers. Whenever I'm doing redstone, I always mix up the names of things. Pistons. So I'm going to use about a half a dozen pistons to start pushing that row over. And then I'm going to use over 100 pistons to start pushing it down. I just went ahead and made the first edition and the second edition all at once. So it's probably kind of obvious what's going on here. So as this row of mud makes its way all the way down to the end, it'll trigger the redstone and it'll push it over. And it'll keep pushing it over and keep pushing it over until it gets to here. And then all these will trigger at once, pushing the entire floor of mud down one. And it'll keep doing that over and over, pushing over, pushing down, pushing over, pushing down, until it gets to ground level, at which point that's the maximum for it's the maximum length over here. I set this height for this reason so that that's how high I can reach. I can take all the mud blocks out from this height, so I'm counting on the ground being solid to stop these pistons from pushing any further. And that is it. That's the whole thing. I think it's pretty amazing. Now I guess I gotta run it. This is not going to be fast. I think I'm gonna try to use an auto clicker. I've never really used one much before, but I think holding down the button for an hour is going to be a bit tedious. So let me see if I can get an auto clicker to work And if not, then I guess I'll just hold down the button for an hour or something. And then I will show you, hopefully, a giant brick of mud. And that only took 30 minutes, but I did have to, if you see it's kind of claustrophobic in here, I realized that if I'm going to be AFKing overnight, I needed to make sure I didn't get killed by mobs. So I did a temporary barricade in here. I'll have to figure out some kind of better entryway or something, so I stay safe. But here we go, and we'll take a look, and boom, there it is. Oh my goodness, so much mud. What happened up there at the top is I forgot I need to put in extra bottles because every hole needs to be filled in the dispenser for it to spit out correctly. So I actually need more than the exact number of bottles so that the dispenser stays full. So I'll do that next time, but yeah, this is it. Oh, now I've got mud for days. So let's dig it all out and take it back to the base. I just realized that you all never saw the finished cloud platform with the statue. Look at that. Oh, you know, it takes me a little while to get back around to the clouds sometimes, but this turned out really good. I love the statue. I love how that turned out. You know, I was thinking that I really wanted to have a little bit more connection for this one. So I have both the trident platforms here, and I have the stairs going up to her brother's temple. I think it turned out really great. I am super proud of this temple, and you know, I have to say, I think it might be my favorite temple that I've done. It's not the biggest, but I think it's one of my favorites as far as how it all came together. So, what do you think? Do you think it turned out good? Did I not wax this? I'm gonna have to go through and wax this. I think it's starting to turn. Oh, whatever. But besides that, do you think I like this bow and arrow statue quite a bit. It took me a little while to figure out how to make that work. All the other statues are kind of double thick, but I instead made this single thick, but it's more three-dimensional as far as like the feathers and whatnot. I think it turned out really good. So I think I have one last bit of business that I want to cover today. I am receiving lots of questions about the warden. They're wondering, is it really there? Did you do it in creative? What happened? Well, let's go over and take a look. I have to say, I've gone by a couple times to check on it myself, because I'm still shocked and surprised that it's there. We can fly by and you already start hearing it. And if we're gonna land. Oh, you can just hear him going crazy. Oh, yep, there's the effect. Oh my gosh, I can't see any. I want to fly off of here. I don't know what direction. Oh my goodness. Okay, we're gonna wait for it to clear before I fly away. Oh, he's shooting at me. We're just gonna fly away. I can't see. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know if I'm gonna die. Well, is that proof enough? Is that proof enough that he's there? Jeez. I forgot he was going to start shooting at me. We did it. I'm super proud of it. You know, there is snow collecting on it, but I'm not going to go over there and try to clear off the snow. It's just going to be the way it's going to be. Oh, man. If you saw that episode, I have to tell you, that is the most stressed out I think I've ever been playing Minecraft. I've fought the Wither and the Dragon. I've done all kinds of crazy things in the Nether, but trying to collect him and then having him run hog wild through our Nether hallways. Oh, I was so stressed out. All right. Wow, this has been super fun. I really feel like I got my redstone fix taken care of. And I think maybe next episode we'll get back to some building. What do you think? I'm really looking forward to that. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you did, please leave a like and maybe consider subscribing. I'd really appreciate that if that's something you're interested in. But mainly, I just want to hear from you. So leave a comment. Let me know how you feel I did on the treasure clues. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. And I hope that you found it adequate.